Today, ChillPoint, but on Monday? What is this, 2019? This is ChillPoint.
Can we go back to 2019, Paul?
See, the problem
Please?
though, if we go back to 2019, then we have to go through 2020 and 2021 again.
I'm sure an accomplished scientist such as yourself can find a way around that.
Go back to 2019 and then, jump forward 2 years.
Yeah, you know.
Yes. Anyway, hey everybody, welcome to ChillPoint, which, as previously mentioned, is here on Monday because Friday was the pre-release, which you should check out because it went really, really well. And it was super fun. If you like magic, you should check that out. But today we're talking about video game news, and I guess there's more time between CheckPoint and ChillPoint than we usually have. So there's been enough time for other pieces of news to sneak in. But we'll cover that.
I'm sure it's nothing that important.
Yeah.
I hope.
And
no.
And also for those of you who don't know, we didn't show the episode of CheckPoint at the beginning of the stream this time because we don't have to anymore. Because yay, the YouTube channel's back. Why is it back?
Nobody knows, but we don't care.
Why did it go away?
Well, nobody knows. Well, okay,
we sort of know why it went. I mean, we know the cause of it going away, but not why that caused it to go away.
Yeah, it's
nobody
like
has told us what was fixed in order to make it come back. So hopefully it'll stay here.
Yep. No, there's no other timeline now. YouTube is fixed forever, and if it ever goes away again, I am not responsible for my actions.
I mean,
that's all.
Are you ever responsible for your actions, really?
Well, it's there are times in which I will take responsibility for my actions, by which I mean I will gloat or make power poses and be like, yes, that was the thing I did. That's about the most of it, though. Beyond that, that's like a lot of work, and I already have a full-time job. I don't need another one of taking responsibility.
I mean, in some ways, one thing you've learned is that however bad the YouTube uploading system is, it could be worse because the Twitch uploading system is worse.
Yeah. It's nice to be able to hit upload on a thing and then walk away and not have it destroy itself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway. Welcome to ChillPoint. This is the show where we talk about the last week's CheckPoint and give you a little background info. Also talk about other video game news that might have happened last week or the week previous to this one. The week previous to the episode. I don't know what you would... It's like normally like, hey, what happened this week? But it's really what happened last week now, so...
I'm everyone's busy, and sometimes it takes a little while to catch up on the news, especially if you're playing Magic or trying to catch a bus which still hasn't shown up, or we all have other things to do sometimes.
It's true. So let's get into it. In fact, actually, the first story, speaking of being busy doing other things so that you didn't notice what was going on, there's a new Animal Crossing update that has a whole lot of stuff in it. And not only that, but it actually came out like a day early or even 2 days early, depending on how you measure these things.
There was an estimate of when people thought it would come out, and So yeah, it did. Well, okay, the 2.0 free update came out early, and then I think the DLC paid for thing still came out about on time.
Hmm.
Maybe.
And
It's a blur.
yeah, there's all sorts of new stuff in there. I believe you can get a somewhat of a summary of it in that Kathleen did a stream about it on Saturday, where she was going through a bunch of the new stuff. But I'm sure she didn't have time to touch on every single thing.
Well, I mean, it's meant to be a slow roll, so unless she was time traveling a lot, there's going to be certain things she didn't get to. I know the news press was incredibly interested in pointing out that you can get 6 froggy chairs of different colors. So
Different colored froggy
if you're
chairs.
yeah, if you're waiting for that meme to hit a conclusion, that did. If you have the mobile Nintendo app, there's a Nook Link um, thing that connects to the game in there a little bit, and they've updated that as well. So there's an island newspaper that does things like tracks your bells for your turnips and tells you what you did that day if you were connected to the internet. And it's got like really great headlines like, oh, this very suspicious this very legal art vendor opened up the thing like you've been paying for. They suspiciously kept repeating how legally their art was, but nobody asked, and so we're a little more suspicious about that now. These little article
So
headlines. It's cute.
so on your little island with like 6 people on it, or however many, like how many people? Like there's you, and then there's like what, a half a dozen
For
villagers.
animals, I think you can get up to 10,
So there's like maybe a
maybe.
dozen people on this island. Has a newspaper
Yeah.
that just reports about basically what the one person who's actually doing stuff on the island
Yes.
actually did. Is there like a reporter animal that hangs out?
Not that I know of, but I assume there's one that's hiding,
Ooh,
following you around.
now you're being surveilled.
Yeah.
Maybe they can like break a scandal, whatever. This person doesn't give presents.
Oh no. I went over to this person's house and they had cockroaches. How dare? They don't like it when they visit your house and you've got cockroaches. I mean, I don't know who would, but it's,
How
you know,
how do you get cockroaches?
by not playing the game for a long time. And your house gets cockroaches and you gotta go around and you gotta step on all of them. And like those little Pikmin ghosts I was telling you about before the stream, there's a little
There's little cockroach ghosts.
cockroach ghost.
Well,
So
now
that you
you
know
just
you got them.
so then your house is just is just haunted by cockroaches then?
Yeah, but unlike real life, when you finally get the last cockroach, because that's possible, and I don't really know much about cockroaches, but I hear that is impossible, you do a little victory dance so that you know that you got the last one.
Nice. The
And you can't
can
catch them and add them to your bug farm, so they're not real bugs, probably.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, you think the one advantage with having your house infested by cockroaches is that you could then catch them and have a bunch of cockroaches as buddies. I don't know if I like that very much. I don't like the idea that your house is just like haunted by the ghosts of cockroaches. But anyway,
I mean, it could be haunted by gyroids.
it's true.
That's
That's one of the big
those are
things.
creepy.
That's one of the big things in the update, right? Is that there's like a ton of new gyroids.
Yeah, they're all different and customizable now, and they're very cute.
Mm-hmm.
Previous iterations I've seen are actually more on the creepy side.
Right,
Some of
right.
these are still pretty creepy, from what I've seen, but a lot of them are pretty cute.
And Beej had to explain to me that gyroids are traditionally things that are like buried with bodies.
Yeah, they're based on a thing called Haniwa, which is a little statue that gets buried with a person's body. And in
Which brings up some
previous
questions that
games,
you may not want to answer.
yeah, in previous games, it would rain and then gyroids would show up in the ground where they weren't before, which was one thing. In this game, you can find broken gyroid pieces and then you have to put them in the ground, and when you water them, they become whole. So that's creepy in a different way now.
Hmm. Interesting. Because like when as somebody who doesn't really play as Animal Crossing, when I saw the gyroids, I was like, oh hey, they're like cactuars from Final
Oh, yeah, yeah,
Fantasy,
yeah. Oh,
which
yeah.
I'm assuming they are. The design is probably like it's one of those like sort of the cactuar like pose is possibly even based on the gyroid thing as well. Like it's there's possibly like some uh they're probably not based on each other, but they're maybe like from a common uh
I always thought
ancestor.
cacti were just based off of cactuses,
Well, yeah, but
but I'm
they
not super familiar with the Final Fantasies.
cactuars have uh a very specific like they have a pose where they're like that they look basically like the gyroids, like with one hand up and one hand down.
Mm-hmm.
Also, cactuars are always two dimensional and have two frames of animation up and down, regardless of what how advanced the copy of Final Fantasy is. For somehow they always are this. They're still two dimensional and only have two frames of
I
animation.
I'm willing to bet that if you added in extra frames of animation, it would just look weird.
Yeah.
It would just it wouldn't be right.
So are the gyroids like the new collectible thing? Like people
They're
trade
they're
them and collect them?
they're definitely a collectible thing. Different people do different things with them. They'll interact with music, from what I understand a little bit. Most people I know have always just thrown them in their basement, and you go into the basement, and there's a weird collection of gyroids. I think in older game you used to be able to give them to Brewster to hang on to for you, but that doesn't happen anymore.
When I was doing the graphics for this, I was looking. Kathleen talks about that people have spent hundreds of hours playing Animal Crossing, and so I was looking. I wanted to find a picture of like a like really full island, like as if somebody had been
Oh,
doing like a
okay,
ton
yeah,
of
yeah.
stuff, right? And so the best picture I could find was a picture that was connected to an article that was about this thing that apparently what people were doing was just like filling their house. I mean, speaking of cockroaches, they were filling their houses with like containers with bugs in them and like stacking them like 10 high, like just everywhere. There's just like these whatever terrariums with bugs in them inside their house, like filling up every single possible space. So that's fun.
Yeah. It's a good update. It's there's a lot of stuff in there that people have been wanting for a while. Um, Stuff that I think had been data mined actually quite a while back.
That they were like, this is
Uh,
coming.
yeah, like but Brewster I think's been a rumor from a data mine from almost the beginning, I think, and crops and stuff uh, have been kind of a are we going to get that or not thing for a while, because pumpkins we got croppable pumpkins for a bit before. Now there's like tomatoes and wheat. You can make your own bread. Every time I catch a fish now, I learn a new recipe about fish,
Right. There's
which
like a
is
whole
neat.
there's like a whole cooking
Yeah,
recipe
it's
thing.
it's basically just the crafting thing, but now you're cooking,
Right.
and you got to
Nice.
do it on like a stove or something, which I don't have yet.
Uh Great. Well, it's like the interesting thing about Animal Crossing is it's this is going to be like the last. They've said this is the last free update and also the last. There's only going to be this one DLC. So theoretically, this is kind of it, right?
Yeah, I think they'll probably still do minor bug fixes. There's supposed to be a bug for the DLC right now where if you have, I think it's like if the airport doors are open while you're doing a decorating thing, then you can't store your DIY recipes in storage or something. So they recommend you don't do that while with the airport open right now while
That's
they
such,
fix it.
that's such a weird like combination of things.
Also, you can store your DIYs in storage now. That's not a thing you could do before.
The but it's like, so if at some point, either for the Switch or for whatever happens after the Switch, another Animal Crossing comes out. Uh, it's interesting because like this Animal Crossing, there was a lot of stuff that was like not there when it was first released.
Mm-hmm.
That was in previous versions of Animal Crossing, right? That was in New Leaf or
Yeah, and
whatever.
that would be the complaints that some players
And
had.
but so it's this there's this weird aspect where it's like it seems like every version of Animal Crossing kind of has to start from the beginning again, in terms of like, I mean, not from the beginning, but like has to start. It's like when you play Super Metroid and
Oh,
lose all your equipment at the beginning of the game, and then you have to recollect the
mm-hmm.
space jump and everything.
it's
It's like when you
it's
bring out a new Animal Crossing, you have to start from the beginning again. So like down the road when we come up with the new Animal Crossing, it won't necessarily like it'll we may have to like go through this whole content update stuff again.
it's definitely a different direction than they've ever done before. Because it's always just kind of been there on the cart. Except for they did one DLC thing with New Leaf after a long time. No one expected because that was not a thing yet. Um,
Right.
but the whole point of Animal Crossing is the idea that you move somewhere new, and so you have to start somewhere. You got to like interact with a community, and now you have to destroy it and demolish everything and build it however you want, like some sort of weird god.
Uh, all right. Uh, so
Time to fast forward.
Yeah, Zelda Ocarina of Time. So this is this weird thing of uh and I was asking Beach about this, whether he didn't even he doesn't I guess he hasn't really played Smash, so he didn't really know about this. But so there's this weird aspect of Smash Brothers Melee in for GameCube, in that it has demos for the games of a bunch of the characters.
This was with Brawl.
Oh, sorry, Brawl. Yes, right.
Cool.
Brawl has has demos for a bunch of the games of the characters, uh, including Ocarina of Time. It's got this demo of Ocarina of Time where you start in the Temple of Time as Old Link, and you have 5 minutes to play the game. And so, because Ocarina of Time has been speedrun to heck and back, somebody's realized that they could actually beat the game, because you start obviously as Old Link in the Temple of Time, so you're already way ahead from where the speedrun normally starts. So you figured out that you could actually get to the end of the game in less than 5 minutes, or finish the game, get to the credits. It's sort of a weird, like they do it, like it's sort of a weird glitchy way to get it. It's not like they fight Ganon and stuff, but they get to the end credits stuff, which opens up this interesting aspect for me. Just like thinking about this, it's like how much of Ocarina of Time is actually on this disc. Like when it's always interesting when they make demos like this. Like often, because often, like especially if you like get a demo off Steam or something,
Mm-hmm.
like the full game will be like 100 gigs, and the demo will be like 90 gigs. Like the demo will be like almost the entire size of the game. There'll just be like a little bit of stuff, but a lot of that content can't be accessed through the demo. Although
Mm-hmm.
sometimes the demo is just the full game with some sort of thing, and people figure out how to hack it so they can actually just like play the game using the demo. And so I'm curious as to like how much of the game is actually on this disc.
Yeah, I that is a question I have as well. Is if you're starting in the Temple of Time, then you've already breezed past the first three dungeon areas that you have to do as a kid,
Right.
and then unlocked the thing and had Ganon swoop in and be like, "Haha, you poor pathetic child! I defeated you," before his plan goes awry a little bit. So
Well,
that leaves like seven more dungeons you could potentially go to, I
right.
think.
And if you start as like old as adult Link in the Temple of Time, can you like immediately go back into the Temple of Time and go back to like being young Link and run around like that?
I mean, you should technically be able to because you need to go back and forth between the two time periods
Right.
if you can finish the game.
But yeah,
That suggests that you can, but it doesn't like the because I think the Deku Tree dungeon isn't something you go back into after you've done it, so that's not something they'd have to include. But they might anyway, right? There's that whole thing of like, don't mess too much with the code, or if everybody dies.
well, yeah, I mean, like the easy way to do it would be just to, like, assuming they have enough space, and I guess they probably like considering this is on the Wii, on the on a disc, uh, and the Ocarina of Time was for N64. They probably, you know, putting the entire game, like the entire game is probably like 20 megs or something. Like they could probably,
Because they'd have to have a different game for they have to have all the games for all the other characters, right? That was the idea. The this is a way for you to kind of go and see what those characters where those characters came from.
yeah, yeah. I
And I
don't.
mean, in that case, it's you're I don't know if they did like Toon Link or anything yet by this point for Smash because that would be me having to keep track of something I don't keep track of. But it would make sense to at least start you off as adult Link because it'd be really weird to be like, ah, yes, this character comes from this game, and you go and you play, and you're like the tiny child Link.
Right. Actually, that's a good point. Yeah, of course. It's you want the person to be playing the version of the character that's actually in Smash Brothers. I wonder if you can do. I wonder if Sheik is in it, or whether you can, or whether like there's like a. That'd be interesting if there's like a
Mm.
demo that's like takes you to another part of Ocarina of Time, so you can see that. It'd be kind of cool.
Yeah, the you imagine them doing that today in the current Smash? Because that game has like what 80 some characters in it.
Got a lot of characters. Yeah.
Uh, there's a lot of demoing.
Yeah. Especially since a lot of the characters are, and a lot of the characters are from like or some of the characters are from like modern AAA releases too. Like not they're not
In that case, you'd probably have to cut those down.
yeah, they couldn't put like the N64 version of the thing on. They
5 minutes of Kingdom Hearts. Okay, so that's like what
it's like half.
the song that plays at the beginning, and then maybe you get to move 10 steps.
Yeah, yeah. It's like this did not tell me anything about this character.
He keeps falling into the ocean. I don't know what that's about.
Yeah, 5 minutes of Persona 5 wouldn't really get you very far either.
Oh my goodness, I think you'd maybe get to sign the contract that where you put your name in, and that might be it.
5 minutes of Minecraft, you could almost do a speed run. I think the speed run for Minecraft is sub 10 minutes. But anyway, that's just sort of a fun little story about. I always enjoy interesting speedrunning stories. Shoes,
Shoes.
Xbox, or X, and specifically Xbox merch. Now we talked about special edition Xbox Adidas shoes actually a couple weeks ago. There were these fancy special edition Xbox or special edition shoes that by Adidas. They were based off the special edition Halo Xbox,
Uh huh.
which was like transparent green. and so then they made some like these like cool green shoes. But those weren't actually for sale. They were only available like by winning a contest or something. But now they're going to be releasing some that you can actually buy for $160 that are based on the Xbox 360. And I mean, obviously, so they're like white. They've got like a green. I do like they did some nice details. Like they've got they've got the obviously the Xbox logo and stuff on the bottom of the sole is the like circle.
Oh, okay. All right.
The on the tongue is like this silver. It's like the CD tray for the Xbox One or the Xbox 360. And I think on the back of them, like on the back of the heel, there's a thing that is like the memory card slots for. So like they actually like they put some effort into it, which I
Mm-hmm.
appreciate. Like it sucks when branded stuff is like, here's the thing that we were making anyway, but now it has a logo on the side.
Yeah. Yeah. I'll be curious to see what they do for Xbox Series X and Xbox Series S and how those are different, but still not in shoe form. Maybe one will be a size for children and then one for adults.
The Xbox Series, the Xbox Series X and S one, like the shoebox could be the actual like thing, right?
Hmm.
Because otherwise the shoes would have to be like big square, big like rectangle. But there's lots of vents, so you could do that. You could do like little holes and stuff on them.
I mean, that makes a good basketball shoe, right? You want vents for your basketballs to fit under the the hopping of what you do for sports.
Not sure that's how you play basketball, but sure.
I don't have to play basketball, so I can make up things.
Uh, and this was also a none too subtle push for the checkpoint mugs, which are still available at store.loadingreadyrun.com.
Yes. If you want to buy one, I might recommend that you wait just a little bit for the Desert Bus merch to hit the store, and then just like grab one, put it in your cart with that.
If you think that
Save
you're
yourself some shipping.
yeah, if you think you're going to get some Desert Bus merch as well, you could yeah do all that stuff.
If you think, popular event.
Do 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 do.
I mean, we
And
did actually have a number of people talk about like the fact that they had a checkpoint mug. I saw a couple people show photos and stuff, and
excellent.
I really like that. It's nice to see people like when we put out the pride shirts and stuff for the first time, and a bunch of people were taking pictures of those and showing those off. That's real neat. Definitely at our Loading Ready Run Twitter account with merch that you buy from us, so that we can be like, yeah,
Yay.
we appreciate it.
Uh, Durdrongo asking about EU UK shipping. No updates currently. I know that Beige is working hard on that. It's a whole thing.
Yep.
Unfortunately, it's way more complicated than it should be. And it's one of those things where various people in positions of power have made certain decisions and possibly not maybe not been totally clear about the ramifications of the decisions that they made, that it would totally screw
Yeah.
over shipping from everywhere else in the world. But in any case, we don't have any updates on that right now, other than it is something that we know is important.
Yeah, officially, I can't. I don't think anything has changed. What I've seen a lot of small art sellers do, like people who make small print runs, who are like, I can't sell to the UK now because the thing you have to fill out is real expensive. They often recommend make a friend who is not in the UK to buy the thing and then reship it to you as a gift, which is a workaround you could maybe employ if you
Mm.
really have to. Make some friends in our Discord.
And there was, yeah, and it's it's an interesting aspect where, technically speaking, the UK not being able to ship to the UK is related to Brexit in the sense that we were unable to ship to the UK for a little bit, but then the EU also made some changes. So even if the UK was still part of the EU, they would also fall into this other thing. So the Brexit made the UK difficult to ship to for a few months before the EU also had that happen. But anyway,
Yeah, it's a really weird thing that I don't understand at all because it requires like a I don't understand your politics over there very much, and I have to keep some headspace for my own in the country that I live in. So yeah.
yeah, it's unfortunately with the tax stuff and the you know the you know positive and also negative thing is loading ready run Bionic Trousers Media is at a size now where we are doing a fair amount of sales. It's not like we can be like, oh, we'll just mark it as gift and it'll go through, it'll be fine.
I mean,
We have we it's nice that we are at a size where we can do things where it's that we're doing things legitimately and not trying to just kind of sneak it in under the table, which we used. There was a lot of traveling to conventions with a lot of T-shirts in backpacks
for friends, right? These are for my friends and my family.
But we do have to be careful about all our tax laws and rules and yada yada yada.
It's important. We like to uh, be lawful. But you know what's great, Paul?
Hmm.
That I know that we've unpacked that weird topic, but there's another topic we could unpack.
Are you talking about possibly the GameCube unpacking? This is a game that, I'll be honest, this game does not seem that appealing to me.
It's so cute, Paul.
It's cute. It's a game where you unpack and place things, which
Yeah, you unpack.
which I feel like is one of those tasks that people don't really like to do much. But then again, there's a lot of things that you do in video games that you don't want to do in real life, and somehow doing it in video games makes it fun. So who am I to
Oh no,
judge?
I'm saving. I've been watching this game. It like hit gifs on Twitter for forever,
Mm.
and it looks adorable. And I'm saving it as my like relax after Desert Bus game. It's I listened to an interview with one of the devs when the game came out, and they've said that you're unpacking different houses over different time periods, and so
Mm.
there is a sort of environmental storytelling thing going on,
Oh,
but
nice.
nothing in the game is labeled, which is why this GameCube is
So
like, for some people they're like, I don't know what this is.
yeah, people they were getting recurring messages on their Twitter being like, "What is this thing? Where does it go?" And then of course the which was just like a picture of a what is effect obviously a GameCube, slightly changed for copyright purposes, and of course that everyone hearing that is like, "Oh no, I'm old."
It's a really neat game to hear about though, and especially in terms of dev, because it's like there's a bunch of stuff in a box that you have to be able to place in different places in the house, and how much do you restrict it, because you don't really want to totally restrict it from people, but like different things happen, like you can put a t-shirt on a hanger, or if you try to put it on the shelf, it folds up,
Mm.
so it's different, or
Who's to say you shouldn't have a GameCube in your bathroom?
the toilet paper. Apparently, if you go to hang it, you can decide if you want it to hang it over or under.
Oh man.
That's a thing, or if it's just gonna like sit on the back of the toilet. Like,
Or
it's
you can't
really
just be like, you know what? I'm not even gonna make the decision. I'm just gonna put it on the back of the toilet
yeah.
like a monster.
Yeah, I think that's really cool. And I've seen some they have a GIF maker or something in the game so that you can like do little recordings of like some stuff you've done, uh like a picture mode thing from what I've seen. The GIFs I've seen where you finish the box and the box folds up and like goes poof seems really satisfying. I'm really looking forward to playing this game in a couple of
It's
weeks.
there is that interesting like, you know, organizing things in the game in a game is so much easier than organizing things in real life because you have like unlimited space and you can all this stuff. And so, you know, there's that thing where you're like, yay, I get to be all organized. And I didn't have to, you know, do all the complicated work of doing that in real life.
Lifting, getting sweaty.
Yes.
You move a bunch of things around. That kitchen box is like 10 times heavier than it seems like it should be.
Yeah, yeah. Uh and then Neontech uh is shutting down Harry Potter Wizards Unite, the their Harry Potter Pokemon Go game. Just the weird thing with these games with the Niantic games is that it's like the same thing, right? Like they use all the same like map data
Hmm.
for Ingress or Pokemon Go or Harry Potter Wizards Unite. It's just like what overlay is it going to use? And
Well, what function is it going to serve?
apparently people did not go for the Wizards Unite one, which I was looking when we were to get a video for the episode. I was looking at the trailer, and I feel like the trailer may have oversold it a little bit. It's like fighting with enemy wizards and shooting magic and your magic wand and stuff, and it's like it's probably not that cool. If it's like at least with Pokemon Go, like the experience is
I
has
mean,
that sort of like finding
their
Pokemon and
initial
stuff.
their initial trailer of like, oh, Pokemon Go is going to be amazing was also a little bit beyond what you would be able to really get out of a mobile
Yeah,
game.
I guess
But
so.
you know, the idea,
Right.
the excitement of what you would love for it to be is still pretty fun. Yeah, I don't
And
know what happened with the Wizards Unite game. I think I remember it when it came out, like the talk about it when it came out, and I think a couple people I know tried it and then they fell off of it within like a
it's
day or two.
I feel like it was put out on the assumption that the like new series, the new series of Harry Potter, like the whatever the more the sort of more adult ones, Crimes of Grindelwald and all that stuff.
Oh, okay. Extra the we ran out of Harry Potter books to do, so we started making
The like
things in the wizarding world.
the American ones, Fantastic Beasts. That's it. I felt like it was the Harry Potter Wizards Unite was put out with the assumption that Fantastic Beasts would be as popular as Harry Potter was, and so there'd be like that push, and that did
Mm.
not happen.
Yeah, I mean, I would have loved the story to have been like, oh, Niantic is shutting this game down because everyone found out that J.K. Rowling's an effing turf, and therefore they dropped the game like a hot potato, and nobody wants to play it. But I think it's just that the
I,
game's not fun.
yeah, yeah. I feel like that aspect of it like I think the Harry Potter books and stuff are still pretty darn popular. Like the group of people who are sort of aware enough of J.K. Rowling to care about that, are I don't know if it's actually like that sizable
It's,
a
I
chunk of
mean,
people.
it's had an effect on. Oh, there was some other Harry Potter game that was getting made by Warner Brothers that seems to have had a rocky thing over it. So, mm,
The fans I knew who played it hated a lot of the glitches and time gates and stuff. Yeah.
yeah. Now they're doing Pikmin Bloom, and I'm playing that, and I like that.
Yeah, yeah, which is the sort of much more casual, just kind of the chill out
Yeah.
version of Pokemon Go.
I walk out, I walk around with some Pikmin, I plant some flowers. I don't have to fight anything, and then they bring me fruit, and sometimes they put
You don't
stickers on their faces.
you don't have to train the Pikmin to fight other Pikmin.
I mean, I hope not. I kind of feel like that would be a real weird way to go. I know people call it a glorified pedometer, and it is, but I also like not having to stare at my phone as I walk around trying to collect Pokemon anymore. I like being like, let's plant some flowers and sticking my phone in my pocket and uh, finding some cute little Pikmin. I had one the other day that put on a coffee cup, and I was like, yep, we're friends forever now.
It's like you like coffee, I like coffee. Uh, Although I do kind of like the idea that in the Pokemon world, you're like the Pokemon trainer and you send your Pokemon out to fight other Pokemon. I like the idea that maybe in the Pikmin world, the Pikmin, are they sometimes like fight amongst themselves, but unrelated to what you're doing.
Oh,
There's just like a Pikmin like fight club, underground fighting arena that just like happens off camera that you never see.
so in the 3DS Wii U era, I think uh, Nintendo did make some Pikmin shorts, and they were only available on like the eShop, but they're on YouTube now, and they are incredibly cute. And it is, you can watch Pikmin basically walk around and discover things like glass bottles, and one will get
Hmm.
stuck inside the glass bottle, and a bunch of them will laugh at that one, or uh, and then maybe try to help them get out. And they're really cute. They're worth looking at. You
Nice.
want to watch like a 5 minute animated video of some tiny plant things be weird at each other.
All right, let's talk about other games or other news that happened last week that were interesting. Uh, Twitch has introduced a new category just for animals. So previously, animal streams would be often under like uh, what would be like just and like just chatting or ASMR stuff
Just
sometimes.
chatting. I imagine probably the hot tub pools category
That's true. They would have
would probably do some.
they'd had like otters and stuff in the
Yeah.
hot tub category. So now they have animals, aquariums, and zoos as a new category.
So if we're gonna watch a fish play Pokemon, or an octopus uh, decide lotto numbers, I can't remember what the octopus did. I guess they go on the under the animal category now.
Right? Yeah, yeah, yeah. You have to make sure you have to make sure that the animal is playing games. Otherwise, it's not really appropriate for Twitch.
Does that make the animal the content creator? Is this going to be that thing where like that monkey that took a photo, and who owns the content?
Mm, good point. Good point. Yeah, yeah. Well, who owns the content that the animals produce? Who gets the ad revenue?
If I cosplay as a fish, do I have to go under the animal category, or does that is
Right.
that
Do
is
we need a
that
do we need
not
like
correct?
do we need like a real animals category and a people
Cosplay
yeah
category.
people dressed as animals category?
Does a fish count as an animal?
Of course, a fish counts as an animal. Why wouldn't a fish be an animal?
Oh, I don't know. Have you seen fish? They're kind of weird.
It's animals, aquariums, and zoos. That's true. People are animals.
Yeah, I'll say.
All I know is I can watch chickens 24 hours a day on Twitch. Because, I mean, speaking of, we were talking about Desert Bus coming up. I remember Desert Bus 2. We were that when we were broadcasting on it wasn't Justin TV, it was Ustream.tv. We were in our category, what I think, or I don't know whether they even had categories in the same way, but we were constantly being overtaken by the Shiba Inu puppy cam, which was literally a camera of like newly born Shiba Inu puppies sleeping. And every once in a while, like one would sort of get up and snuffle around and then go back to sleep. And, we were, singing and dancing and doing giveaways and challenges and all this stuff. And you can't compete with like a bunch of puppies, a bunch of Shiba Inu puppies sleeping in a pile.
If your energy output is a bunch of you have to be dancing and moving around all the time versus some puppies that can sleep and sometimes move, I think you're losing. Yeah.
Yeah. Not much you can do about that.
You just have to wait for the puppies to age out.
That's true, right? Yeah.
And then maybe you'll get a few more viewers.
Yeah, 15 years later, who's laughing now? So this story is interesting because so Nintendo has won a lawsuit against somebody who was modding switches, I think it is. Yes, was modding switches, allowing it so that they could play hacked games and stuff, or play commercial games on disc on non-standard things, and play copyright games and all this kind of stuff. But it's mostly exciting because the person who got in trouble is Gary Bowser.
Yes, we've done this story before.
Yeah, I'm sure we did a story about it when he was actually, got accused of it. But now he's, $4.5 million. So just the idea that Nintendo has, or Gary Bowser has been ruled against, or Bowser, a court has ruled against Bowser and ordered him to pay Nintendo $4.5 million.
If I remember right, this was the guy who got in trouble a couple of times, and one of those times involved him having to take a bunch of ROMs off of a site as well.
Could be. To be clear, this is in no way related to the person whose last name is Bowser, who is the head of marketing of
the president of Nintendo of America.
Yeah.
No, this one is Canadian.
Yeah.
And as far as we know, has never worked for Nintendo.
Right. Anyway. Just
at time of recording.
It's basically like some sort of combination of like Super Mario Brothers and like Ace Attorney. Sort of like Mario Ace Attorney, where he just.
I mean, if it was Doug Bowser, That would have been like it wouldn't just be like an article. It's like, oh, Doug Bowser had to pay like whatever. It would be a huge scandal
Yeah,
for
if
somebody working within the company to do a thing like that.
to be running a ROM
Yeah.
site, yeah, that would be big. But yeah, the like Mario Ace Attorney, where Bowser kidnaps Princess Peach, and instead of like going on a big adventure, he just like sues him to get.
I mean, we haven't had a Mario lawyer game yet. He's been a doctor and a golf expert.
Mm.
So, I mean, he could branch out into another category, I'm sure.
Yep, yep. Do, 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 do. So there is. This is mostly just me wanting to tell you about this game, and also, so the creator, one of the creators of Monument Valley,
Okay.
which is super neat game, super fun, uh, beautifully rendered, uh, and has kind of this, does have this sort of neat story in it. But one of the creators anyway has been working on a game called How to Say Goodbye, which is a uh, grid based puzzle, his adorable sort of puzzle game about coping with death and grief.
Mm.
And as I was sort of, when I posted this story, I was sort of commenting. I was like, because of course it is. It's like, could we not? Why are all these like incredibly gorgeous indie puzzle platformer type games always about something horrible?
Death and depression, and
Suicide
you
and
mean like all of
depression
the
and all
all of
this
the
stuff.
things that we all seem to keep going through?
Yeah, couldn't there be like a fun? Couldn't there be a gorgeous indie puzzle platformer about eating a lot of ice cream, or
Well, there could be, Paul, but I think you might have to make it.
hmm,
I feel like there might be um I know it definitely seems like a trend of like there's a lot of indies who keep making games about grief and like especially ones that get talked about, right? It's like, oh, this game's so beautiful and it talks about depression. And it's like, yeah, a bunch of us are really depressed though.
it's true. Write what you know, I guess.
Yeah, you could play Wadham. Have you played Wadham?
I have not.
I think you'd enjoy it.
Mm. Uh,
Everybody explodes a lot. And they all say wee when they find out that they can explode.
doop doop boop 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 boo. Squid Game is the ridiculously popular Netflix series. I believe it is the most popular Netflix series they've ever done, which is saying something because they've done some pretty popular series. Um, they and it has inspired a free multiplayer game called Crab Game, like Squid Game, but Crab Game. But kind of with the same idea where it's your there it's a multiplayer thing where there's a whole bunch of people and then you're playing a bunch of you know sort of children's type games, like the red light green light and stuff.
Hmm.
And if you fail, you get killed. Spoiler for
Yeah, so it's
spoiler
another
for
like
Squid Game.
death game type genre thing.
I guess it's a little bit like uh the what is it, Fall Guys. It's really what I guess that's really what Fall Guys is like too. But I don't know. I don't know whether it's explicit that when you lose in Fall Guys, you're dead.
I mean, I assume the big bean costumes are to keep you safe from falling from the great height.
But this is so Fall Guys is sort of the it's more like American Gladiator style things, I guess.
Mm.
Whereas this sounds like it's more like you do like tag and the floor is lava, hide and seek, those kind of. So they're more sort of kids games type things, I guess. So anyway, it's available on itch.io. Check it out.
Crabs. Time for crab.
Crab game.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think Squid Game's gonna be a thing I watch. I hear it's quite violent, and I think I wouldn't enjoy it. But a lot of people were having fun. I know it's popular because I see crafting of it happen all the time. I'm like, oh, neat.
Yeah, yeah. It's been very popular. Yeah, I agree with you though that it's not something I'm particularly interested in playing or in
I
watching, I
watch a
should
lot
say.
of I've seen a lot of death game type genres within anime and some uh, video games I've played, particularly the Dungle romps. But uh, I can deal with it a little bit better in cartoons.
Yeah. Um, New World, the MMO that has been that was launched a few weeks ago on Amazon, um, has been having some teething problems, I guess you would call it. Some issues. Obviously, a lot of especially MMOs have issues when they're launched.
hmm
New World, for instance, New World had a lot of issues around queues for people trying to actually get into the game, for one thing. Which
that's not uncommon on a first day though.
Yeah, yeah, and I think we talked about it a while ago, which was mostly just because, come on, you're Amazon. But yeah, um, the but now the other problems they've run into is sort of more kind of, I don't know, I feel kind of more interesting. So for one thing, they had some issues with the economy in the game
Mm, okay.
where there just wasn't, which is, this is actually one of the interesting things where, MMOs compared to real life, and the way sort of, economics actually sort of does apply. One of the issues that they had was that there wasn't enough money in the game. Like, the things that you could do to earn like gold or coins or whatever, you weren't
Okay.
getting people weren't getting enough coins in reference to what things cost.
That
And
sounds like real life so far, Paul.
well,
What's
no,
I don't know what's broken yet.
and so but the thing is, people had lots of other resources. They
Okay.
just didn't
Okay.
have coins. And so
All
what
right.
happened was there grew up this barter. People were starting to barter with things that they weren't supposed to be. Like, basically, this kind of black market started happening where people were selling things and trying to like and trading things with each other, uh and like, the how much something is worth in, you know different things, because they wanted to keep the actual like gold money for the specific things that they needed to buy from the game. And so when they were trading with each other, rather than trading gold and stuff, they were using this sort of barter thing, which is exactly probably what would happen in real, in real life, in the problem with, if there isn't enough actual physical currency around. But it's just kind of funny, or it's just kind of neat that like that happens in the real world, or that happens in the real world and also in the thing. They also had, hilarious stuff like the chat box took HTML. And so people, of course, immediately were like, oh, you can put HTML tags in the chat box. I'm going to produce very, very terrible things, like
Ah, yes.
making images appear over top of somebody's entire screen and stuff like that, because they can.
Well, the internet was a mistake.
I like my favorite thing about this is the biggest exploits that people were doing with that is either sending just a giant, making it so that a giant yellow square covers the other person's face, uh, or covers the other person's screen so they can't see anything, or just sending them stock image, like stock photos of sausages.
All right. It's this is a thing. Okay.
Yeah. There's been some. There's also been some issues with gold duplication. So once they sort of started figuring out what the solution to the making that there wasn't enough gold, then they released that people started figuring out how to dupe gold.
Oh yeah, that sounds like real life too.
Yeah,
There is not enough. Now I've made more.
and then and so for on October 29th, so I guess a week and a bit ago now, they actually, because there was such a problem with gold duping, they had to disable all forms of wealth transfer between players.
There's a tactic they could try in real life.
Yeah. That's they. I mean, MMO, like we've talked about this before, but it's like the MMO. An MMO is like the real world if the government had literal control of the laws of physics of the world, right? It's like I mean, the biggest example of it is like CCP and Eve Online, because that's one of the more. It's been going for a long time, and it's a lot more sort of laissez-faire, and it's built up all this kind of stuff. And CCP actually has several economists working for them to figure out
Oh
stuff.
wow.
But in the real world, the government or the people in authority can't just be like, everyone's money is gone, or nobody can trade anything with each other anymore, or everybody is now 2 inches tall, or there's no
Okay,
gravity.
some of those are definitely a lot harder to do than others. I'll admit.
Or mining is now 20% more efficient. There's now more fish in the sea. So anyway, it's kind of fun to see. It's kind of like with when we were doing all sorts of fun stories about Fallout 76. The way that these, especially in MMOs where there's like a ton of people and they're all kind of interacting in unpredictable ways, the way that these bugs manifest themselves is often highly amusing. Uh, doo, 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 doo. Marvel's Avengers, the game, not the movie, by Square Enix and Crystal Dynamics. By all accounts, actually, quite a cool game. It's got some neat stuff in it. It looks really nice. But they've had some controversy because it's got paid in-app purchase stuff. But when they started it, they were like, it's only going to be cosmetic things.
Oh no, did they go back on that? Did a video game company lie?
And the start of last month, they were like, oh, hey, you can also pay for XP boosts.
Oh, gee.
And people were not happy about that.
Oh, I can't imagine why.
Even though they said there wouldn't be any pay to win, and then they did XP boosts, so they've now rescinded that, and the message that they put out was we apologize for not responding sooner to your concerns about the addition of paid consumables in the marketplace. We introduced them as an option for an evolving player base, and did not see them as pay to win, as they don't offer power directly. It's like, we didn't make it so you could pay to win. We just made it so you can pay to get the thing that makes you win. It's like,
we didn't respond right away. We kind of thought this might blow over faster and no one would care after a week, and we were wrong. Oh no.
yeah, it's like I don't see how XP boosts could not. I like. I guess the idea is like we're not just giving you the XP. We're just making it a lot easier for you to get the XP. I guess.
I don't
Um,
know. My understanding is Guardians of the Galaxy has been a game that's gone over a lot better than the Avengers one.
mm,
Or at least a lot more people I follow seem to care more about it.
uh, yeah. Apparently, the Guardians of the Galaxy one apparently is, and like for a game that seemed like kind of a, you know, cash tie-in game, actually apparently has some like really good sort of like story stuff in it.
Hmm. The only complaint I have about that one is the shorthand everyone keeps using for it is GOTG, and we have a shorthand for Game of the Year, and so my brain really wants to read it as Game of the Game every time I see it, and I get real confused for about 30 seconds.
Game of the game.
Because I'm trying to figure out what my game of the game would be, and
Mm,
it's really hard. Like at least game of the year, I've got like a much bigger, uh, like a good focus of a
right,
thing.
right.
But game of the game feels like someone asking you what the best game of all time is, and just like
Mm. Game of the
that's hard.
galaxy.
Ooh, Game of the Galaxy is pretty good.
Uh, we said that it would be happening, and it has indeed happened. Uh, After the region limited tease that they went off with a while ago, if you're on Android, the Netflix app now has games in it.
Oh, anything good?
Um, it's got the Stranger Things series of games.
That would make sense.
There's a couple of like so it's got the couple of smartphone type games. This article just says three other arcadey tap action type games. Um, these were previously launched on other storefronts, but these versions don't have any microtransactions or anything in them. They're just you are subscribed to Netflix and it just happens, and you just get it, so you don't have to pay, uh, which is nice. I mean, it's sort of the like Apple Arcade thing. They don't seem to be lighting the world on fire in terms of the actual what games you get, though. So
Yeah, I was gonna say I didn't know that they had pushed that through yet, but you know, new service. Just have to see how long it takes to die or thrive.
I mean,
I guess I should put that in the other order, but I most of the time I feel like these things die out before they ever hit a thrive stage.
yeah, like I feel like, I mean, Netflix, it could easily just be like even if this particular aspect dies, I feel like Netflix could, obviously will just they'll just be like, well, that didn't work. Continue watching TV shows.
We'll try a different thing later maybe.
Uh, to be honest, I marked this as a story, but to be honest, I don't know if there's any important info to talk about for it. But uh, I've seen a lot of people talking about the Elden Ring gameplay demo that From Software put out on Thursday, so on the morning
Hmm.
of Checkpoint. Apparently, it looks really, really good. I've been seeing all the people I know who are big, From Software games fans are extremely excited.
I mean, yeah, I was gonna say, I has there been a From Software game that a From Software fan is not excited about when they talk about it or doesn't look good in trailer portion time?
Um,
I don't think I've heard that story.
I mean, the big thing that I've heard, which is I always like is being like, you know, it's a From Software, but it seems like they have, combined, um, you know, the aspects that people really liked from like Sekiro Shadows Die Twice and uh, Dark Souls and um,
Hmm.
Bloodborne and stuff. So it seems like they really, at least
It's
from what
building up on stuff.
we've seen, um, yeah, From Soft, Breath of the Wild, uh, seems solid. I don't. So to be honest, I haven't really gotten into the FromSoft games, but uh, sounds like it'll be really
It's
good.
it's not a thing I've ever tried, but if you like it and it's you're excited by it, then awesome. We
Indeed.
we all need more things to be excited by. So yes, I'm here for your excitement, even if I'm not here for mine.
Uh, well, if you're excited about Diablo 4 and Overwatch 2, you might want to tone it down a little bit because they've been delayed.
There's
Uh,
been a lot of games delayed this the last couple of months.
yeah,
I think things are hitting real hard.
the old. I mean, I feel like it really has been like since Cyberpunk 2077 or whatever 2177, whatever the name of
No,
that.
no, it's 2077.
Yeah, since Cyberpunk, like, was such a big, uh, the sort of rushed development was such like a big aspect, or was sort of caught the sort of consciousness. I feel like that gave every other developer license to be like, we're going to delay a little bit to make it better and to not push our developers so much. And everyone is
Mm.
like, yeah, we're totally fine with that, which is great. But the everyone developers or the production companies and development companies realize that are sort of like, okay, we can do this. We can get, it used to be that delaying something would be give you a massive blowback, but people are a little more
Yeah.
understanding these days.
Well, the pandemic's been really rough
That
on certain gaming companies. I feel like at the beginning of the pandemic, we were seeing a number of things that were still on time because they were in final stages, right? They were already kind of on on their way, and now that we're a couple years into it, we're hitting that point where stuff that would have had specific developmental needs probably got pushed back a lot. And when you have games that are getting talked about for release because you have new systems coming out, and let's face it, when a new system comes out, they talk about games that are coming out in the next like 5 years. Sometimes that stuff is definitely going to get pushed back quite a bit.
Yeah, yeah, and as Lizardbeak's Fury in the chat said, I remember way back in the day, Blizzard was sort of famous for not announcing release dates on games. They were the like, it'll be done when it's done people.
Mm.
Um, and the, like, StarCraft Ghost and the Warcraft, I think it was called like War of the Clans or something, were like two famous things of like games that were several years into development, and Blizzard was like, nope, we're not going to release it. It's not good.
Mm.
But yeah, that hasn't been the case for a while. They've had to. Another aspect of this, of course, if we're talking Blizzard, got to talk. There's always something
There's always
new
a storm
brewing.
brewing over there, huh?
Yeah. Um, how much these two stories are related as to like the delay is because of this, who knows? But Jen O'Neill, who was the brought in as the co-leader of
Oh,
Blizzard
right. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
3 months ago, kind of when all this stuff hit the fan, is leaving,
Well, that
which
didn't last
does not
long.
bode well. Uh, it does not look good. Uh, and especially since she's leaving, and it's the weird thing about it is she's leaving. There's always obviously we don't know all the details about it. There's all sorts of contracts and things involved, but her the statement she gave as to her leaving is kind of sus, to be honest. Because she has this whole the it's a very feels like a tightly managed statement. Uh, Says, I am doing this not because I am without hope for Blizzard. Quite the opposite. I am inspired by the passion of everyone here working towards meaningful, lasting change with their whole hearts. This energy has inspired me to step out and explore what I can explore how I can do more to have games and diversity intersect and hopefully have a broader industry impact that will benefit Blizzard and other studios as well. And so it's like, so let me get this straight. You're inspired by the incredible passion of everybody working there, and you're so inspired that you're leaving.
Leaving them to fend for themselves.
That
I've
does not
um
ring true.
I've worked several jobs where I only was around for like a few months, and you leave right away because they're not good places to be.
Mm.
And I would probably definitely in another job interview not talk about how terrible that place was, and would probably
It's
say something of this regard, to be honest,
like,
because you still got to get work, and nobody wants to hear about the terrible place you used to work at.
yeah, like there are all sorts of good
But
reasons why somebody would not totally, you know, burn everything as they're leaving. Uh so and that's it's entirely her prerogative to do whatever she wants in that regard, but um it is an odd statement, shall we say. uh and it does definitely seem like, they bring on somebody, and then that person is like, oh no,
yeah,
you
okay,
ain't.
sure, I can come in here and help do things. I can't get anything done here. I'm leaving.
Yeah, and it's like, I am not. It's like, when somebody once she's in charge and has the full breadth of everything that's going on, she's like, you aren't putting this on me, I'm out of here.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm personally like, if this means she's not in a bad place, good. If you can quit a job that's terrible, then awesome. But that doesn't. mm, I'm not without hope for Blizzard. I wonder if that's really true.
Yeah. So, maybe we'll find out in, 10 years in her tell-all book about the three
Oh,
month
maybe.
the three
I
months she
mean,
spent at Blizzard.
depending on how things go between like 6 months to next couple of years, we might find out all kinds of things about Blizzard Activision.
I mean, I say 3 months. She was 3 months as the co-head of Blizzard. She was the former head of Vicarious Visions. That was also, what I believe was a sub.
Oh, okay. So she wasn't
Sub.
like from fully outside the company. She
No,
was kind
no.
of brought in and gone. Okay.
Uh,
I mean, I once was made the department manager of a department that had nobody else in it. So, in a weird way, I also got upgraded and then had nobody working under me. I also got paid really badly, but I needed the hours. Uh, and that didn't go well either.
it was a
Going up a ladder in a place is not always
Was it
what
like,
you want to do.
congratulations, you're a department manager, and as department manager, why isn't your department working better?
Yeah, pretty much. Why aren't you doing the job of the 6 people you don't have? Also, we're only going to pay you $11 an hour, even though the going rate for a department manager is like 14. But you want that job security of being able to get 40 hours a week so you can pay rent. So,
Oofa
when no one else
doofa.
is hiring, you kind of just take it sometimes.
I feel
There's so
like,
many jobs I'm glad I don't have anymore.
luckily, I feel like Jen O'Neill was probably getting more than $11 an hour.
I would hope so.
I hope she has a very, very nice, large severance chunk
I
or
don't.
whatever. Anyway,
Hmm.
I think so. That was all the stories that I had marked in the document. I know there's a couple of things that we that happened have happened in the meantime. I I don't know whether so. Square Enix has been making a thing about NFTs are the future. La
They're
da
the
da.
newest one to join on to that one.
Yeah, I feel like
Let's
when
see.
we need like a we need like a list of like who's not NFTing.
Or planning to. Because, like, that's the thing. Some of them are definitely like, we're. Seems like they're already on board and that they're trying to figure out a thing to do. And some of them seem like, oh, if we say the word NFT and that we're doing it,
Yeah,
our investors will be very happy. And I can't tell the difference between them, and I don't like it that it's happening at all with any of them. So,
in some ways I
uh,
am like encouraged in the sense that I feel like none of these companies actually have any like plan as to like the word NFT has a certain, you know, mystique to it. But a lot of these companies don't seem to actually have it's like, "Oh, you're going to use NFTs." Oh, really? Oh, okay, cool. For what? Oh, non fungible things. We will be using them for anything that shouldn't be funged. That's where we'll use them.
yeah, because I think Neopets was the last one I read.
Mm.
That was in on it. Ubisoft, which Sega. I just like I think Hasbro said a thing about it like a while back, but I don't think they've done anything with it. It makes me think of that Cooking Mama story where the guy where we saw that weird stuff about blockchains, and then it turned out that that really had nothing to do with anything. It was just blockchains are a word that
Yeah,
people say and are very popular to
and
investors and stuff.
yeah, I feel like there has been some like find and replace blockchain with NFT. It's basically the same thing, right? Do it.
I'm
I
just
mean,
tired
I
of reading it.
from the perspective of the companies, it is basically the same thing in the sense that it's like the new word that we're gonna say that also doesn't mean anything for the purposes of what we're talking about. Uh, yeah, it's. I have to say the somewhat frustrating thing for me as somebody who is interested in the technology is that I can actually see interesting things for this idea of a digital token that can't be replicated in and is being tracked on a universal level on a sort of higher level than just a database within a company. There is some interesting things you can do with that separate from, but that's you know the none of those interesting uses have manifested themselves, and the term is sort of poisoned almost at this point. But
Yeah,
and of
yeah.
course there's and then and that part the like that there's this cool that this idea of a non copyable digital asset is separate from of course the environmental impact stuff.
It's just it's like it's very weird to watch. Okay, if we separate it from the from the environmental stuff, it's very weird to watch a group of people be like, oh, you know what computers are really good at? Making everything really accessible and a billion copies of it. Let's make that not happen. That
Right,
feels
exactly.
weird.
I mean,
That's
but
just
it's like something, obviously DRM and things is something people have been wanting to do for a long time. And so in some ways it can be used for that, or there are like legitimately interesting things that you can do with it. But yeah, the scammers got in there
mm-hmm.
before anybody else could. It turns out that like the killer app for NFTs uh, is scamming other people.
Wasn't
Turns out to
there
be a lot easier than actually like building something useful with them.
wasn't there a story about it was like that Squid Game currency that got reported on by I think like the BBC or something, and then 2 days later a bunch of scammers ran off with like $2 million of money that people had put into because it wasn't a real thing
It,
or something.
the sad thing is I don't know the specific thing you're talking about, but I've also heard that story for several different things.
It's weird because like okay, I have a basic understanding of cryptocurrency, the blockchain, and kind of NFTs, but I know I don't know things on a really deep level. But now I keep reading articles where people are like, NFTs, and I'm like, okay, but you just described a thing that wasn't an NFT, and I know that much.
See, you're
So I
knowing
don't know.
knowing enough to know what you don't know already puts you way ahead of a lot of people in this
Don't like
particular
that other
era.
people seem to be at a slower level, though. It bothers me. It bothers me to watch news reports or people pretending to be news reports not use terms properly.
I remember, back in the day of the 2008 subprime mortgage stuff. Um, before, like a year before that all broke down, Warren Buffett, uh, famous rich person, uh, and investor and all this stuff. He one his like annual letter that he put out to their investors of the Berkshire Pathway or whatever the big investment company is. Um, uh, there was people were at why he wasn't getting into these derivatives. And they're like, there's all this free money out there. Why isn't Berkshire Hathaway deep into these things? And in his letter, he was like, I don't understand these, and nobody understands these. That's why we're not doing them. And this is Warren Buffett talking
Honestly,
about
that's a pretty good way to go.
it. And it's like the and that I mean now and then of course the derivative thing got totally because they were all total bullshit. And that's sort of what's the NFT thing is like. You don't need to understand it to make a bunch of money off of it. It's like, but
That just falls under like a get rich quick scheme mentality, right? Though like the idea that, oh well, if I put this dollar into this machine and I pull a lever and then miraculously I get 3 cherries, I make a bunch of money.
right. I don't.
Perfect. It's free money.
Yeah, I don't need to know how the slot machine works in order to do it. Yeah. Anyway,
The world's so depressing, Paul. I'm looking forward to Desert Bus, where we can at least pretend that 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 that's not happening, and we can all just have fun for a while.
yeah. No NFTs at Desert Bus. Don't worry.
I don't know how else to make the end of this episode more positive, so I'm just gonna bring up Desert Bus.
Yay. Uh, yeah. I mean, that's in the episode let's talk about what's coming up next because yeah, Desert Bus on Friday, 6 p.m.
Pacific time.
Friday, 6 p.m. The bus begins. When will it end? We don't know.
That's up to you a little bit, but we estimate roughly a week ish.
Yeah. I can tell you that right now we've already raised $3,500. So,
Oh, nice. Hey, we haven't even done anything. Do we have to do Desert Bus? Can we just
I mean,
take a week off, go sleep?
yeah, seems good to me.
I know I just said this place it was like a real fun event and everything, but it sounds like we don't have to do any work.
Uh, and then let's also talk about Dice Friends tonight. We have a very special Alabaster Kingdom. If you've been watching the series, Alabaster Kingdom last episode was last week. And now, thanks to our YouTube channel not being pooped anymore, they're all up on our YouTube channel, so you can watch them all again. Also, they're here on Twitch, and of course, they're available as podcasts and all this stuff. And it was a super amazing series, very cool, with a wonderful group of people who you'll be seeing again tonight because we're having a live post-game Q&A debrief post-mortem session where all the players are going to be talking about their characters, talking about the campaign, taking your questions from chat, all that awesome stuff. That's going to be happening tonight at 5 o'clock in just about 2.5 hours. And then tomorrow morning, as far as I know, 9 o'clock is still happening. Desert Bus is coming, but there are still holes to dig. And whatever else James, Uno, and Serge are going to be doing.
Last time I checked, they were doing something called Vault Hunters, and I don't think they've stopped yet. So,
And then on Talking Sim, Cameron and Corey are going to be playing Umarangi
Generation.
Generation, apparently.
So this game, Cameron's already played as a Piff. So if you wanted to watch Cameron's first reactions to this game, those would be up on the youtube.com/loadingready live channel where we keep our VODs. And if it's coming up on Talking Sim, that would mean it's a game they've already played before. So I'm going to assume they're going to get to maybe do a little bit of a deep dive.
Cool. And then on Let's Nope, Adam actually is out of town. And so Ben is going to be playing Phasmophobia with a group of friends. I don't know exactly who's going to be joining him on that. But it will be a Let's Nope adventure.
I don't know if Adam's played Phasmophobia. Because we've generally done this as like a CTS game.
Yeah.
And I don't know if he's been around for those or not. But still, Phasmophobia is a strange time of ghost hunting with people online, and it seems like it does pretty good in terms of having an online game with multiple people.
Yeah. It gets super spoopy.
I still maintain the scariest part of that game is doing the tutorial because you have to do it solo, and so you walk into this room with a TV and it's like you know that anything that is happening is not due to another person. Whereas when you play a game with other people, you can do that thing where you're like, oh, that was a creepy noise. Well, I'm gonna blame that on that other person in the room over there. That was probably them.
There is no other person. It's all ghosts.
All the way down.
And then on Wednesday, we are going to be doing a Crossing the Streams with the probably incorporating the Jackbox Party Pack 8 games. I think there's at least one Jackbox Party Pack 8 game we haven't done yet. And for that one, we're actually going to be bringing in a couple of our Desert Bus friends. So that'll be super cool. We're getting, I believe, Andrew and Erica are going to be joining us on that.
Both very awesome people. I think that'll go over real well.
Yeah, so that'll be super fun. And get some Desert Bus hype out there.
Look at us go-getters. Like previous Desert Buses, we've been like Nope, all streams shut down forever. We have things to do. We're very tired, and look at all these multiple person streams going on right beforehand.
LRMTG on Thursday. And that's that.
Yeah, that's the last stream
That's it.
before. That's the last scheduled stream. I don't think anyone's planning to hop on
Yeah,
anytime.
Thursday night. I don't think there's going to be any streams going on, and then Friday, of course, we'll be setting up for Friday night, starting Desert Bus, which will be going for a long time. That'll be super
Starting
fun.
with that night watch shift this year. Instead of don't we used to start with like a couple hours of dawn guard.
Yeah, in the past, I mean, we've moved it around a lot, but we're going to be starting at 6 o'clock. So we're shifting the start time a little bit, in the hopes that will then correspond to a subsequent ending at the. I mean, it's always tough to figure it out, but the hope is that we're trying to organize it such that the ending happens at a good time, so we don't end at like 4 o'clock in the morning.
I mean, I hope that works out. I truly do. It's just every year that I've heard okay, we've rearranged the time so we think we'll actually end around this time. And then we end up going like for another 2 to 3 hours for some reason and ending in the middle of the night, which was not the plan. And I'll admit, if you're trying to hit more for the midday, that's harder to push into the middle of the night. So I hope it works out well.
So do I. But we'll see how it goes. Desertbus.org, by the way, has all the info for Desert Bus. Some really amazing.
Look at that website.
There's some prize previews and stuff up there.
Oh, there's some really good prize preview stuff. There's like these leather journal books that look really cool, and I know there's like a thing with Jacob, like you basically buy his time or something. Lots of really cool stuff there. You should go check it out now and get your donor accounts just ready in preparation. True. That's the thing you could do now today, probably. I'm assuming.
All right. Thanks everybody for watching, and we will talk to all y'all later.
Are we not going to do subs, Paul?
We should do subs. Thanks to all the people who subscribed during the stream. Like P Blackcoat for 52 months.
Mike Smith 916 for 89 months. Welcome back.
Mr. Dirty for 52 months. Thank you very much.
And Demon Fires gifted a sub to Desert Bus. Thank you.
King Koopa for 21 months.
Scythinin for 67 months.
A guy called Squid. This ain't no game. For 20 months.
Lizardman 175 for the 72 month. I don't do math anymore. Anniversary sub.
Yay! I believe that is 6 years.
Well, that's a lot of years.
And 3,800 bits from Fairbender, Mikarg, an anonymous cheerer, and Sora Mayra. Thank you very much to all those people. Thank you to Heather for reminding me to thank all those people. Thank you everybody to watch it, to who's watching. We will talk to all y'all later.
Bye.